everybody. Katie Lance here, founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting, the Get Social Smart Academy, and author of the book, Get Social Smart. And I'm so excited for our Academy Spotlight series today. Very excited to have a very special guest on the show today. Eileen is the owner and broker of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Island Lifestyle in beautiful Hawaii. She is a longtime Academy member and a dear friend, and I'm just thrilled to have her on the show. So welcome, Eileen.
Aloha. Glad to be here. Glad to be here, Katie.
Well, I'm so excited to chat with you today. Thank you so much for taking time. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great conversation.
My pleasure.
So let's just start at the beginning. For folks who may not know you, I would love to just hear a little bit of like your backstory. I know you've been in real estate a long time. So how did you get into real estate and what does your business look like today?
Okay. Yeah, it's been 40 something years. And so the background is I'm an Air Force brat and I've lived all over the country and outside the country. And my father was a sergeant with 5 children. So you can imagine. I'm not sure we were at poverty level, but I'm pretty sure it was close. Of course, we never knew it at the time because our life was good. And my mother would sew all our clothes. And so we had fabulous clothes all the time. And my father would buy the worst house in the town wherever we got stationed. And we would be like, oh no, we got to live in this dump. And then for the next, 3 years, we'd live in construction. My father would rehab that house. And then by the time we got orders to move again, the house would be just how we would love it. And then he would sell it. And, we'd get orders for the next place. And so I think back and say, God, he was the original flipper in my mind, And, I can remember in this one neighborhood, and I didn't know what it meant, but somehow it stuck in my mind. And I remember it now that I can remember overhearing a neighbor in this one house we lived in California talking to another neighbor. And they said, how can a sergeant with 5 kids live in this neighborhood? And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird, but I don't know what it means, but later I did because, he flipped and kept building. And I just kind of, I guess it got in my DNA. And then I bought my own first house at 22 years old and got my real estate license. And fast forward, now I live in a luxury resort selling luxury real estate in Hawaii. It's all good.
You are living the life.
I am.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So I know you obviously just, I think we first met probably through social media and, obviously through the years, now you're part of the Academy and you've been to some of our masterminds and, I know you use social media quite a bit. So maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about how social media has impacted your business and do you see a result in your business from social media?
Of course, I'm a big fan of social media because I use video so much. People recognize me around the resorts and they just come up and start talking to me and my brain's going, did I sell them a house? I've been selling in these resorts on this Kahala Coast for about 30 years. So I can't remember everybody, but so my mind starts going, oh, did I sell them something? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? And then all of a sudden they say, oh, we get your videos. And I'm like, oh, good. I don't know them really, personally. Right. And so,
but they know you,
but they know me. Right. And just an example, I was filming a live stream earlier this week down at the resort. And the camera crew and everything was set up on the beach path. And we were live streaming to New York, to a studio in New York, this project we were working on. And because I was by the beach path, everybody, not everybody, but people would walk by and say, hey, Eileen, hey, Eileen. and the camera crew in New York were cracking up on the other end, And then this one guy, he just yelled, hey, I know you, you're famous. I get all your all your videos. And then the camera guy that was standing with me, he, because that all got in the video or whatever, the recording, and the camera guy just goes like this. So I always tell it to my agents, video, but it's like their mother talking to them. They just block it out. So we're in the office the other day, and there's maybe me and 5 agents, and our office is in a high-end resort, and the doors are wide open, and so people come by and talk and whatever. And this one lady walked by, and she kind of yelled in the door, "Hey, I love your videos, but you need to make more because I've watched them all now." And she just kept walking. And my agents all turned around at me, looked at me, and I said, "I rest my case."
That's the
I have no idea who that woman, was. So, so love my video.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's such a powerful medium for people to get a sense of who you are and your expertise and what you're all about. I absolutely love that. And I love getting your videos too. I watch them too. I love it. So, I know there's a lot of options with social media, right? There's Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, LinkedIn. Yeah. I mean, there's a laundry list. Where are you spending your most time right now on social media? Do you have a favorite social media site that you find that you just enjoy hanging out on, that is getting the most business for you or just resonating more in your business?
I would say for a platform, YouTube for sure. I have my own channel, and it's not as big as it could be if I had more time. First of all, I do sell real estate. I have several real estate offices, et cetera, et cetera. So my time is limited. But
you're not a full-time YouTuber.
yeah. I wish I could be, really. But I would say, YouTube is kind of my platform. Not that I don't do Instagram and Facebook and those kind of things, but YouTube's my main. I would say my main place that I like to do the social media.
Yeah. So that's where a lot of your videos are going. I mean, I know you send a lot of videos, like you said, through BombBomb, through newsletters and emails.
Yeah. So that's how I leverage my videos. So I send out it's a video, 2 videos a week to 1,000 people. So twice a week, I send a video email through BombBomb. And BombBomb's, my thing, again, because it's video email. And because I live on a little island and none of my clients live here, although they own here, I can send them videos about what's going on the island. I don't spam them with, here's my new listing, because, they care less. Maybe 1 in every 10, 11, 12, I might do a real estate video. But because of BombBomb, the bottom of the video has my name and my social contacts and my photo. I don't need to say I'm with real estate. They know. Yeah. So it's more about what's happening.
They're on your list, so they know.
Yeah. And so it's more about what's happening. And interestingly enough, my open rate for those videos is 40%, and that's twice a week. And so I got hold of Ethan at BombBomb, and I said, I wasn't happy with 40%. I think they should all listen to me. But so I got hold of Ethan at BombBomb, and I said, what's the average open rate? And he said, for realtors, it's like 10 to 15%. I'm like, whoa. Okay, wow. So 40%, sometimes 50%, 60%, depending on what the subject is I'm happy with. Of course, I want it to get better, but I got to work on it. So my open rate, if I get 400 people to see my video that day, that's pretty good. And then The other thing about BombBomb that I love so much is that I own everything. You know, with Facebook and Instagram and all that, it can go away tomorrow.
Right.
And not only that, I don't know what they're, as I call it, cockroaching off my information, you know,
Right,
to
right.
my clients and whoever. So with BombBomb, I record the videos. I own the videos. I own my my database.
Yeah.
And if MLS went down tomorrow and Facebook shut down and Instagram shut down and YouTube shut down, I still have my property and my content. And I think it's interesting. My tax accountant, when I'm doing my taxes, he said, how can your advertising budget be so small for as much money as you make? And I said, because I'm cheap. No, I said, because most of my advertising is free. And it's, you know, I do my videos and there's not really a lot of expense behind it. I do have a professional videographer when I'm doing certain like YouTube, you know, things or whatever, but on a day-to-day basis, I just film it myself. And so I don't spend a lot of money on advertising. And case in point, here's my all-time story I love to tell, is I made a in the case where I do send out real estate information. So I sent this video to a subdivision in the resort where I live, and about a new listing. And I had on my goggles, my 3D goggles, and this was a 7-second video. And all I said was, you don't have to wear these crazy things to see this house in 3D. Click on the link below. And that was 7 seconds. Within 24 hours, I double-ended the sale on that $15 million home off that 7-second video. One of my homeowners sent it to a friend of theirs. And unique about BombBomb, every time somebody hits on my email, I actually have that notification shut off because I would go insane, you know, with 400 people, ding, ding, ding. But right. In this case, I had it alert me whenever anybody watched the 3D Matterport video. And I got alerted that somebody watched it 10 times in a row. And I knew it wasn't the person who BombBomb was telling me it was, because they already own a home in there. And I said, oh, they forwarded this to somebody and somebody's interested. And anyway, so, you know, that kind of paid for itself right there.
Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, you there's a couple of things that you kind of said in there. I just want to unpack for a second. So I love what you said about owning your content and owning your videos and owning your database. And, you know, you're a great student, because, you know, that's what we teach so much in the academy. It's like, I love Facebook and Instagram and all these platforms are awesome. I mean, I think you and I, like I said, first met on social media, but but if you're not creating assets that you own no matter what, then, you know, you're missing out on a big opportunity. So even though you're using, you know, like you said, a platform like BombBomb for some of the delivery, you're using YouTube, as you mentioned, you know, other platforms, you still own your content, right?
Yeah.
It's so, and your database.
And my database, that's the key.
That's huge. And
that's
you're kind of, and I love that you're mirroring not just video for the sake of video, but you're looking at the data behind it also, because I think sometimes people, you know, I talk to a lot of agents and they're like, well, I'm doing video, but you can't just put it out there. You know, it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall. You know, it's like, there has to be a strategy, or, you know, you're looking at the, you know, the clicks behind it, or the data behind it. So
the data behind it's huge. And again, through BombBomb, I feel like I have a commercial for them, but
I know. We'll send this video to them.
But the thing is, they tell me who opens it, and not only who opens it, what they click on in there. And sometimes I go through and I'll look and I'll say, hey, he didn't open that video. Resend. There's a resend button. I'm like, I want you to see this. This is important. Boom. So I resend it to them, you know, and you can, in that software, you can actually pull out everybody who didn't open it and resend it. I don't do that often, but sometimes when I'm looking, I'm like, no, this guy needed to know what I just talked about because it affects him, whatever. So, so I'll resend it.
Now, are you also putting those same videos on YouTube, Facebook?
No, because very seldom, because they're too specific to our area. Okay. Okay, the COVID test to get on the island changed again, and this is what you got to do, or so it's pretty specific to the island.
Which I also think that's a really great point, because oftentimes I will talk to agents who just want to kind of take something and sort of blast it everywhere. It's like the spray and pray model, versus like you're looking at, well, okay, I've got this database and this is what this group of people needs, right?
Exactly.
And it's just kind of tailoring your message, which is why you're getting a 40% open rate, because it's really relevant.
It's true, because I have them in BombBomb, I have them grouped by subdivision, for example, or resort. So what I say happening in this resort isn't happening in the other resort. So I don't send it to them. I only send it to this group or this subdivision.
Yeah. I think that's really smart. And, we're fans of BombBomb too. I'm not affiliated with them.
Me either.
but we're definitely fans. And I think a big takeaway for any of our listeners is, especially with email marketing, there's lots of different options that are out there, but being able to kind of segment your list and be intentional with, what you're sending to who, I think is huge.
That's as you just pointed out, thus the open rate, because it pertains to them. They know I'm not trying to sell them a house when they already have a house,
exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know you've been a member of the Academy for a long time. I think you were one of our original members. You've been to a few of our masterminds. Can you share a little bit about how that's helped your business? I would hear that.
Let me count the ways. True. I could go on forever about it, because when I was first into the social media, I was struggling. You can listen to Gary V, and I do,
me too.
Actually been to his office and everything, but that's from 30,000 feet up. I needed the nuts and bolts, and thus I found you and the Academy. Like Gary will say, well, chop this up and put it here and put it there and do this. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know how to record, So, anyway, so I found you and became a member, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, 5 maybe. And I've been to every one of your masterminds that we could ever have in person, right? COVID was the end of it. And those were very helpful. It taught me how to plan the next 12 months ahead on an Excel spreadsheet with 52 different topics. And that was, groundbreaking for me. Not that I can stick to it all the time, but if I get a minute, I can pull that out and say, okay, which one haven't I done yet? And do that. The other thing is, what I get out of the Academy, I would say the most is you keep me on top. You keep me, okay, Instagram just started this. Have you done Reels yet? And I'm like, oh no, I have to learn another thing. I don't know Reels, so, or you'll say Facebook, blah, blah, blah. So without having to search all over the internet and find out everything, you're my go-to. Okay, if anything's happening on social media, anything new, Katie will tell me, and it's all in one spot. Let's put it that way. It's all in one spot. So, the Academy is like keeps me, on the straight and narrow of what's going on, what's hot for right now, or those kind of things.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, and I think one of the things that we really love is having people like you. We I love that our Academy family is really, I mean, I always say Academy family because I really do feel like
It is.
it's
It
really
is
the
a
best.
family.
It is. And I like to say it's really the best of the best. And it's not always like sales numbers. Like, I don't think that is
No.
always an indicator of what best means. It's the quality of people. And I was always attracted to how you do business, Eileen. You know, you're doing a lot with video, but you are such a hands-on person and you are who you are. Like, who you are in video, that's who you are in real life. And, you know, you're selling these multi-million-dollar beautiful properties, but you're also just super down to earth, and you're a
Falling in their pool while I'm
person.
video, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
not on purpose.
Exactly.
Keep the camera rolling. By the way, that's my most watched video, is when I fell into jacuzzi on accident and the camera kept rolling.
Wasn't that a Facebook Live?
It was actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was insane, because I was just doing a Facebook Live because it was the most fabulous clear day, and we have 3 mountains on this, you know, volcanoes on this side and Maui there. So I stood on top of my jacuzzi and I'm like, oh, you know, there's this Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa and blah, blah, blah. And then I turned like this to show Maui, and I fell in the jacuzzi and my iPhone kept filming underwater. I couldn't believe it.
God.
And then I stand up and I don't know, the phone is still filming, and I'm all dressed like this, jewelry, everything. And I'm blowing water. My makeup's running and I don't know it's still going, you know? And so I kind of, oh, it's still going? Well, then, you know, and I finished the video, and it is live. And then, but they knew I fell and everything. So I stopped it. And then when I went to get out of the jacuzzi, I couldn't. I had twisted my ankle like this, and I had to crawl out in, all soaking wet, crawl in my house, soaking wet, call emergency. You know, like, what should I do? And they said, you better go up to emergency. So I got out of my wet clothes, you know, blah, blah, blah. Had somebody take me up there. And then I'm laying there in the emergency room waiting for x-ray, and I'm getting all these texts. Are you okay? Are you okay? So I started shooting, you know, pictures of the x-ray machine and the yeah. So you got to be real on those things.
you got to be real. And I remember seeing it going, oh my gosh, are you okay? Yeah. I was probably one of those people who texted you. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, this has been, oh my goodness. So the lesson here is be careful, right? When you do a
be careful. Be careful.
Well, I have absolutely loved our conversation, Eileen. This has been so much fun. And I know we're going to keep you on for just another couple minutes, because we always love to have a few extra questions for our podcast listeners.
Okay.
But I just so appreciate you being with us here today. This is
Katie, it's the least I can do for everything you and the Academy have done for me over these years. My goodness. I love to toot your horn.
Well, I appreciate it. We're going to toot right back. We love we love what you're doing. So, well, awesome. Well, all of you who are watching, if you're watching over on our YouTube channel and you like our content and you like what we have to say, we would absolutely love if you hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified. We have new videos that come out each and every week. We would love for you to connect with Eileen. We're going to put all of her contact information below. If you've got any folks moving out to the Big Islands or, you know, anywhere in Hawaii, give Eileen a call or a ring or a tweet. Reach out to her. And also, if you would like more information about the Academy, we would love to have you check it out. You can go to katielance.com/academy and get all the details and get signed up. All right, my friends. And I'm also going to encourage you to go over to our podcast, because if you enjoyed this episode, we're going to keep Eileen on the line and ask her a few bonus questions. So thank you again, Eileen.
My pleasure.